And good afternoon. Starting the day a little bit later, not because I overslept or anything like that, but because I had to take care of some responsibilities before I could start recording this video. Now, today I have off, so no big deal there. But anyway, what do I want to talk about now? Today, I'm actually going to switch it up a little bit just to make things a little more interesting in terms of my workout routine. I'm actually going to do arms today, just because why not switch up the days. And then later tonight, I do have an online acting class, so I'm excited about that. I'm hoping it's more acting than it is modeling. Don't mind the modeling stuff, but obviously we know that I prefer acting over modeling, even though modeling can still be fun. But outside of that, we also have to go to the store a little bit because I want to get different hair care products. I want to get some shampoo that helps poof out my hair.
For naturally beautiful hair.
As opposed to this. I mean, I like the shampoo I have now, but I want to work on styling it more, and I think I can get more style when I figure out how to actually get more volumizing shampoo. Also, what else we have to do today? I also have to, again, not just go to the store to get different shampoo, but also because I need my anchovies and kombucha for the day. And for supper, I'm going to be making my ground chicken taco meat, or just the ground chicken mixed in with a little bit of seasoning.
Some good fucking food.
Which is, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, I'm gonna get changed, drink my pre-workout, and we're gonna head out and get this arm day going because we need that pump.
Is the pump.
Am I right? But anyway, I'll get you guys there. And for this lovely arm day, what I wanted to talk about is something that I find highly entertaining, and that is actually creepy or scary videos, or just scary stuff in general. As I used to describe it, I used to say, I find comfort in things that are creepy, but that sounds a little too unnerving, or people aren't sure what I mean by that. What I mean is I just like scary stuff, Halloween being my favorite time of year. The sense of autumn has a very specific aura to it that is kind of unnerving, and there's just something comforting about that I just don't feel any other time of year, or just in general, I guess. One thing that is a good example is that if I'm just trying to relax, cool down a little bit, one of my favorite things to watch are, those quote-unquote paranormal videos on YouTube, with the commentary and chills. Chills is actually a very big, popular thing amongst my friends and I. We always watched him after class, or just when we were just trying to hang out and have some fun. His voice was also very entertaining. I think that's one of the reasons why he got as popular as he was. But outside of him, though, I will just, whenever I get home from work, every now and again, I'll just put on some compilation of scary ghost videos, or abandoned building tours gone wrong, things like that. There's just something that kind of just cools my brain down for a little bit, and I think that might be interesting for some people because more often than not, scary things get their adrenaline up. But for me, it kind of just cools me down more so than anything. And I do find them very entertaining too. And when I'm trying to fall asleep, I actually put on short horror story compilations and things like that, or just an audiobook of an old horror story like Dracula, Frankenstein, The Invisible Man. Especially those. Those have just the aura of just slow-paced, atmospheric horror. And that is very soothing in its own weird way. It's one of those things where it's hard to explain to people why it comforts me or cools me down, because that's just not how it's normally supposed to work for most people. part of it, of course, might be because I know it's all fake. You know it's all fake. At least I hope everyone knows all like the paranormal stuff is fake. And being someone who's seen some genuinely true scary things in life, like real life stuff that would make people go, "Oh my gosh, that's horrifying to see." Seeing things that are scary but not actually scary is just entertaining for me. I think that's another reason why people like a lot of horror movies, because we know they're not real. Sure, they can get us scared and startled for a little bit, but in the end, they are just movies that are meant to entertain us, and we watch them. We laugh with our friends after Jason Voorhees massacres an entire campsite or Freddy Krueger intrudes someone's dreams. And of course, there are the exception movies that are genuinely scary, even if they are fake. You know, like I said, Lake Mungo, Hell House LLC, sorry. And even disturbing movies. I mean, not all disturbing movies are horror movies. And also, I have the mindset of if a movie's trying to disturb me, I don't get disturbed because I see what you're trying to do. So, bug off. But anyway, I just enjoy things that are scary. Even though I don't like going to haunted houses, being jump scared just really isn't my thing. When it comes to finding, I guess, as I said, quote unquote, comfort in creepy things, it's more the atmosphere and less the loud noises. I like the aura. I don't like the bangs, if you catch my drift. Even though I do like my hair to sometimes have bangs. If I'm trying to be entertained, I don't like loud noises. So the slow atmosphere, that's my comfort.
And we are back from the gym, and I also have clean dishes now, but that also means I have to unload the dishwasher. How fun. But anyway, I have my post-workout snack right here. It's looking more like melted ice cream than it does what I was hoping to make out of it, but that's because I added too much milk. But anyway, still gonna taste good. Scoop of protein powder, scoop of collagen powder. Gonna eat this, unload the dishwasher, shower real quick, then I'm gonna make a quick run to the store so I can grab my I need to get new collagen because this was the last of it, and I'm gonna have to get some, like I said, I want to get some stuff for my hair as well as some anchovies and some kombucha because those are my two favorite things. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Peace. A few hours later, and as you can see, I am washed up, cleaned my hair. I actually got it kind of a way that I like a lot. And little did I know, after I made that initial video before I started talking about going to the store and everything like that, I didn't realize how late it actually was, and I had about an acting class a half hour later. So I had to stop what I was doing, quickly shower, lickety split, and get into class. Thankfully, I got into class on time. But right now I'm playing Necromunda Hired Gun. I have one more trophy in it before I get the platinum, and it's a pretty obnoxious trophy too. It's one where you have to get all the mines in one certain level. It's called Diffuser, that's the name of the trophy. I just really want that trophy, just so that way I can get the platinum, delete this off my system, and then move on. I'm saying delete it off the system as if the game isn't fun. It is fun, it's a lot of fun. It's a Doom Eternal clone, but in the Warhammer universe. No Space Marines though. But if you can get it cheap, it's definitely worth the time. I have both the PS4 and 5 version. They come together. And obviously, PS5 version is the one I'm playing. But anyway, I'm going to play this for a little bit. And then we are going to have our nightly conversations once I have my fill of this. It is a lot of fun. Right now, like I said, I'm just trying to get all those mines. I'm getting attacked by a bunch of dogs. And back in my chair again for our next nightly discussion. Now, what did I want to discuss? As you can see, I'm holding some video games here because I wanted to talk about, since I did not get
Doom the Dark Ages. I've been enjoying a lot of other first-person shooters, and these are a few that have been ones that I really like. The one actually really pissed me off. I'll explain why when I get to it. But these are just a few examples of first-person shooter games that I really like playing. And I love how, because I have Doom and Doom Eternal, and they're both on the reversible cover. I forget what even the Doom Eternal initial cover actually looks like, now that I think about it. No, it's not that different. I just like that it's one big cohesive cover as opposed to the other one. And they're both callbacks to the original Doom and Doom 2 artwork. These are still pinnacles of modern FPSs, by the way. Even though, like I said, a lot of people think Call of Duty is a little overrated, but I think, like I said, that type of shooter definitely has its place. And obviously, Wolfenstein: The New Order. This was actually one of the first games I got on PS4, and it is a lot of fun. This, I believe that it wasn't for how successful this was, we wouldn't have gotten that Doom Reap. We wouldn't have gotten these two masterpieces. This walks so these can run. Similarly to how Wolfenstein 3D set the stage for Doom. So we do owe a lot of thanks to Wolfenstein: The New Order. We owe a lot of thanks to Wolfenstein in general. I even have Return to Castle Wolfenstein and Xbox over there, by the way. And this one's kind of underrated, Rage 2, but the reason why it pisses me off is because there's a game-breaking glitch where if you activate the final mission and you do a side quest before you go to it, you can never access that final mission again. The game will completely forget that you did every other mission before that, and you die immediately. And I lost so much progress that I never went back to it. But I mean, it's still an overall fun game, but just know that going in, I was just so mad I couldn't even comprehend doing that all over again. Because I spent a lot, like when I say, like I spent a lot of hours in this game. This wasn't just like, I spent a few hours in it. I was exploring this world because this is a really fun game, a Mad Max inspired, bonkers action, almost RPG, and it was definitely an improvement over the first one. And you can tell that Doom 2016, the new Doom formula was definitely having a inspiration on games outside of just Doom at this point. This came out before Doom Eternal, by the way. But I've been playing a lot of first-person shooters lately, and a lot of it was because I was trying to get myself excited for Doom the Dark Ages. And like I said, though, on principle, I couldn't get it because the physical copy was not a true physical copy. It was a digital code they put on a disc, and that, if they were honest about that from the beginning, if they were just straight up saying, hey, this is a glorified digital copy, not an actual physical disc, I probably would have said, you know what, that sucks, but at least you're being real with me, and I appreciate when things are honest, but I do not like being lied to or misled, and that was very misleading of them to not even hint that that was going to happen. But what are some other first-person shooters that I've been playing? One I actually have over there. I have two over there that I'm going to start playing eventually. I have Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, which my friend Ryan really enjoys, so I'm excited to give that a whirl. And I also have the PS3 version of Duke Nukem Forever. I also have it on 360, but I finally have it on PS3, so I might as well try and get the Platinum Trophy with that. And I really enjoy Duke Nukem Forever.
You might grow up to be as awesome as me.
I know a lot of people think it's not that good, but I always enjoyed it. It has a soft spot for me. It's not like an overly complicated game. Yeah, sure, it does the physics puzzles that the game clearly wasn't made. Should have been. It should have been more. It should have done the Doom reboot thing before Doom did it. That's the perfect Duke Nukem reboot, is the bonkers gameplay of Doom 2016, but you swap Doom guy out for Duke Nukem. That is the ideal scenario. Like, if they ever make another Duke Nukem game, they either need to make them more like this or make them like a game called Bulletstorm, which is somewhere over there. Another very underrated game. I know they actually do technically have a Bulletstorm Duke Nukem game with Duke Nukem being in it, they had John St. John revoice Duke Nukem, and they swapped out the other lead character. I haven't played that yet, but I would just, because like I already beat Bulletstorm on the 360, so I was debating if I wanted to get it again. But I probably would be playing just so that way I can play as Duke Nukem. And pardon me, John St. John, very nice guy, and he's a spectacular voice actor. I wish he'd get some work in film and also animation. But when it comes to other FPSs I've been playing this one called Immortals of Avium. That's the one I actually just kind of got back into because I started playing it a little bit ago. But I wanted to finish Necromunda Hired Gun and Shadow Warrior 3. I still have to finish Shadow Warrior 1 and 2 at some point. I never even started Shadow Warrior 2 because I heard that one's just kind of average. And Shadow Warrior 1 was kind of just more frustrating. So I kind of just said, I do the thing where if I'm not having fun with it, I kind of stop playing. Maybe one day I'll go back and just finish Shadow Warrior 3, not worry about the Platinum Trophy, just be like, okay, beat that, moving on with my life. And Necromunda Hired Gun definitely is a standout because it's very much both Shadow Warrior and Necromunda Hired Gun are both very much Doom Eternal inspired. So much so. It's not even close. And are they as good as Duke Nukem Forever? Of course not. But doesn't it matter?
It doesn't matter!
No. Because Duke Nukem as good as Doom Eternal. Did I say Duke Nukem Forever? Oh, I forget. But anyway, Doom Eternal set a standard for first-person shooters. Now, I don't want every first-person shooter to just be a Doom Eternal clone. I don't, because then you wind up into the Call of Duty situation where it's like, okay, I already have Doom Eternal, and I already have 500 clones of Doom Eternal. Do I need another one? No, I don't. I'd rather people experiment with the FPS formula than just recycle stuff, because the Doom Eternal formula for first-person shooters is spectacular, and I love it. It's the reason why I played it so much. Like, there's the Titanfall clones, which surprisingly there was a lot of, because Titanfall wasn't even that big of a hit when that came out, and Titanfall 2 flopped, which is unfortunate because I heard it's actually spectacular. But it wasn't that big of a success of a game. But that gameplay style, everyone agreed was really solid. You know, the parkour aspect of it, being able to run on walls and things like that. I mean, Call of Duty wound up adopting it. Necromunda Hired Gun has a little bit of that too. But overall, if everything tries to be like Doom Eternal, then everything is going to start being compared to Doom Eternal, and you're not going to beat Doom Eternal. You're just not. And apparently, like, Doom the Dark Ages doesn't beat Doom Eternal either. I know, apparently, I don't know when this happened, but a lot of people are apparently hating on this game. When did that happen? I remember when this came out. This was like the hot deal. This was huge when this came out. This was, like, everyone was ranting and raving about how awesome it was. I remember I made a rule when it came out. Don't bother me. I'm playing Doom Eternal. Don't knock on my door. Don't come to me. I'll come to you. And that's how it was until I was done with this game. It was the poltergeist of gaming at the time. Okay? You do not come between me and Doom Eternal. Period. That's how I was. And I loved every second of it. So where this hate for Doom Eternal came from, I genuinely have no idea. Like, I know some people probably preferred the gameplay style of Doom 1 or 2016 because it was a little bit more grounded, it wasn't as frenetic. But I remember everyone was loving Doom Eternal. Then all of a sudden it seems like a bunch of negative reviews came out for it, so I don't get it. And it, like I said, it was it inspired like so many cool games. Like the one game I played, Turbo Overkill, definitely huge Doom Eternal clone, but that's okay because it's a great formula. And then there's other FPS games like Nightmare Reaper, which is a roguelike first-person shooter where you go into a nightmare and you basically are having a nightmare that you're in a first-person shooter. And it's awesome. It's a lot of fun. The Platinum Trophy's a nightmare to get because it takes forever. So I'm probably not going to get it. It's going to be one of those things where I keep it on my PS5 and just play it on and off every now and again. But I'm not going to like actively go out of my way to get the Platinum Trophy. Beating it is fine for how it's surprisingly a really long game. And I wasn't expecting that when I started playing. But other FPSs that I've been checking out were the first two Quakes. Obviously not Quake 3 because that's a multiplayer game and I don't think they ever released it on PS5. I have Quake 4 over there. But playing through Quake 1 and 2, definitely a lot of fun. And I think that's the one thing that kind of turned me off a little bit about Doom the Dark Ages. It seems like they were overcomplicating the lore because to me, I just think it's more fun. Dude mad at hell, therefore he's just gonna let them know how mad he is at them. I think that's just a cooler plot. I mean, of course, it's cool that he hates hell so much that angels give him powers. I like that idea, but it seems like they just went way too complicated with it, with the Dark Ages. I know, like, Eternal was kind of sneaking that in, but I kind of saw it at first before, like, someone actually tried to explain it to me as, like, hell was such a problem. It was, like, even going to other planets, and they were asking for Doom Guy's help. And then someone explained like the multiple dimensions, multiple universes, and things like that came in that were involved with Doom, and I was like, okay, this does not need to be this complicated. It's literally just dude mad at hell, and he's gonna beat him up. And that's what I liked about Doom, because that's just cool. It's just like I hate hell, therefore I'm going to destroy it. And then they overcomplicated it way too much, but. It got me thinking about Quake. I'm just like, Quake was already that plot of like the multi-dimensions and Lovecraftian horrors beyond human comprehension. And I think it'd be cool to get a new Quake game because I'm playing through Quake 1 and 2 right now too, or I have them ready to go whenever I'm up and at them. I started playing Quake 2 a while ago actually, and I was really enjoying it. And Quake 1 I was also started playing, and that one was way harder than I was expecting. Like, way harder. Quake 2 is way easier, but I like the plot and world of Quake 1 more. Is that controversial? I don't know. Are there any other first-person shooters I want to play after that? I'm not really including first-person RPGs. Like, I have Deus Ex Human Revolution and Mankind Divided over there, but great games, obviously. Borderlands, and the 3 pre-sequel. I haven't played Tarantino's Wonderworld yet. And I have Cyberpunk, which I got that day of release, in case you're wondering how bad I am at making judgment calls. I heard it's updated now. But a lot of these are just games I'm playing until I find a genuine physical copy of Clair Obscur, because, like I said, backlog, I want to get that cleaned up before I take on an epic RPG, because I know I'm going to be at that game for a long, long time. But, like I said, first-person shooters can be a lot of fun. And there was a time when I was just straight up against them, and I think a lot of that had to do with how popular Call of Duty was at the time, and how everything wanted to be Call of Duty. And while I still stand by Call of Duty and its multiple clones are and were annoying at the time, Call of Duty still has its place in the first-person shooter realm. It does. It has its spot, and it deserves to be there. They're successful games, and they can be a lot of fun. Sure, a lot of the times the games can become repetitive, and sometimes when they try to stop being as repetitive as the one that came before it, they can come off as kind of jerky. Whenever they try to be something a little different, They try to be a little too different, and then it doesn't know what it wants to be. So that's the issue with Call of Duty, is that it is kind of trapped in its own form, and when it tries to get away from it, it tries to get away from it a little too much, and they don't know how to balance it out. And I think that's where the Doom games, gameplay-wise, I'm not talking about story here, that's where the Doom games succeed the best, because they know how to change things a little bit, but not too much. And I know a lot of people are saying that the Dark Ages is way too different. From the gameplay that I've seen, from the little bit I've seen even of my roommate play, it seems like solid Doom. More so Doom of like the classic Doom 3, Doom 1 and 2, Doom 64 style, where it's like you can't do a lot of jumping, you can't do a lot of mobility stuff, but it's very much more grounded gameplay. And that's fine. It's fine to like change things up a little bit, and it is supposed to be like before Doom Guy became Doom Slayer, even though they still call him the Slayer at times. So I'm okay with them changing it a little bit like that, because like I said, no matter what, it was going to get compared to Eternal, and Eternal's borderline perfection. And it's probably one, like, at least within my top 5 favorite first-person shooters. I know it's Doom. Here's the thing about Doom Eternal and Doom 2016. If I were to make a top 10 favorite games of all time, these two would be on there somewhere. I almost guarantee it. Where? I'm not sure, but they would definitely be on there because they are just so fun. And like I said, I love the plot of just guy hates hell and he wants to let them know it. What's more Christian than that? But anyway, it's getting kind of late. I gotta call it a night, and I gotta get to sleep because I'm gonna be up relatively early tomorrow. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.